Survival in hostile environments isn't just about dodging bullets or navigating rough terrain, it's about finding your next meal. Soldiers, throughout history and even today, have faced the harsh reality of hunger in enemy territory. The ability to source food under pressure often meant the difference between life and death. In this video, we're diving into how soldiers have historically and practically found food in hostile zones, from the forests of Europe during World War II to the deserts of modern conflict zones. Before we jump in, make sure you share this video with fellow survival enthusiasts, comment your thoughts and experiences, and subscribe to Warcraft Survival for more tactical survival knowledge that you won't find in textbooks. Now, let's get straight into it. The first step for any soldier in a hostile area is to assess the resources around them without revealing their position. This isn't about wandering blindly, it's about scouting quietly and observing patterns in the environment. Soldiers would study the movement of wildlife, the growth of edible plants, and the presence of water sources. In forested areas, trees with nut-bearing branches or berry bushes could provide critical nutrition, while in semi-arid zones, desert-adapted plants like cacti or wild tubers could be harvested carefully. Reconnaissance also involves understanding local enemy activity. Collecting food in zones where patrols are frequent requires timing, stealth, and patience. Historical accounts from guerrilla fighters and resistance soldiers show that mapping out zones of relative safety before approaching potential food sources significantly increased survival rates. Soldiers were trained to read subtle signs. Broken branches could indicate animal trails, footprints might reveal nearby waterholes, and even the presence of insects could hint at food sources. Knowing your environment intimately is your first weapon against starvation. Once a safe area has been identified, soldiers have relied on traditional hunting and trapping techniques. Knowledge of simple snares, deadfalls, and fishing methods has saved countless lives in hostile territories. Traps can be fashioned from minimal materials: branches, rope, cordage from gear, or even discarded enemy supplies. The key is efficiency. Traps must be low profile and easily reset, because in hostile areas, every minute spent setting and checking a trap increases exposure to risk. Hunting requires patience and strategy. Small game, such as rabbits or birds, often provides the most reliable source of protein in contested zones. Soldiers would move silently, using natural cover and wind direction to their advantage, while making use of improvised weapons when firearms were either too loud or unavailable. Observing animal behavior, identifying feeding areas, and tracking signs of activity could lead to consistent food sources without alerting the enemy. Fishing is another underrated skill. Even in war zones, rivers, lakes, and ponds have historically been lifelines. Soldiers often improvise fishing gear from scraps: hooks carved from bones, lines made from bootlaces or thread, and even weighted branches for nets. The principle is simple: slow, silent, and low-risk harvesting of protein without drawing attention. I don't think people understand just how many soldiers survive for days on nothing but a handful of wild plants. While hunting provides protein, foraging supplies essential carbohydrates, vitamins, and hydration. Soldiers have relied on field guides, memory, and passed-down knowledge to distinguish safe plants from poisonous ones. In hostile environments, every plant is a potential resource, but a single mistake can be deadly. Leafy greens, edible roots, berries and nuts are all valuable, but soldiers must always cross-check local knowledge to avoid toxic varieties. Beyond nutrition, some plants serve dual purposes. Certain leaves can be brewed into teas for hydration or even mild antiseptics, while others can mask scent to reduce detection by enemies or predators. Observing local wildlife often guides soldiers towards safe and edible plants. If birds and small mammals feed on something, it's often safe for human consumption after testing. Want more survival secrets? Make sure to subscribe and stay updated for more survival videos every week. In extreme circumstances, soldiers have had to rely on improvisation and scavenging. Abandoned villages, enemy supply caches, and downed vehicles can provide immediate but risky food sources. This is not a first choice, as hostile zones can make scavenging deadly, but it demonstrates the importance of adaptability. Soldiers trained to improvise would turn even minimal rations into sustained meals, utilizing creativity and survival ingenuity. Knowing how to preserve scavenged food, avoid contamination and ration properly was a skill passed down in every military survival manual. Finding food is only half the battle. Soldiers in hostile environments often face hunger fatigue, psychological stress, and physical deterioration. Survival under these conditions demands discipline, methodical planning, and mental toughness. Keeping calm, conserving energy, and avoiding unnecessary exposure can mean the difference between surviving for days versus being compromised in enemy territory. Every movement, every decision about food acquisition must be deliberate and calculated. Finding food in hostile areas is a combination of skill, observation, and mental resilience. From reconnaissance and foraging to hunting and improvisation, history has shown that soldiers who mastered these techniques had a higher chance of survival. Every environment offers clues if you know where to look, and every skill can be refined with practice. If you found this guide valuable, make sure you subscribe to Warcraft Survival. Hit that like button and share this with friends who are serious about survival history. Comment below if you've ever tried any of these methods or if you have personal survival experiences to share. Staying prepared in hostile environments isn't just theory. It's history, strategy, and practical skill rolled into one.